of Defense vowed justice for women's murder. Former radio broadcaster shares insight. And Prime Minister reaffirmed commitment to minimum wage review. A very good evening. This is National Emtv News. I'm Natasha Voy. Thank you for joining us. In a recent statement, the Chief of Defense has vowed to bring to justice a member of the PNG Defense Force accused of torturing and murdering his girlfriend.
Chief of Defense Rear Admiral Philip Polewara has condemned the crime, stating it is totally unacceptable and not reflective of Papua New Guinea Defense Force's values.
Story talk million story.
The incident, reported on Sunday, 9th of February 2025, led to what the Admiral described was an immediate action by the military police. Personnel secured the suspect's room and collaborated with civil authorities, including Boroko Police, to investigate the crime. Rear Admiral Polewara said witnesses have been identified and further inquiries are going on the brutal torture and murder of late Lina Numbali. He reassured the public and the deceased family that justice will be served, stating any accomplices will also face the law. The PNGDF is working closely with police to ensure the case proceeds to court. Late Lina was noted to sustain gruesome bodily harm that shows signs of suffering till death. Her father, Corporal Emmanuel Numbali, with the Correctional Service, described her death as brutal and inhumane by someone who is mandated to safeguard and protect life. She was announced dead around 8 p.m. on Saturday, the 8th of this month, leaving behind 2 daughters below the ages of 5. The suspect, Milen Kapli, is currently on the run. Attempts to get information from the police regarding this incident have been unsuccessful. James Guken, National Emtv News.
With concerns raised by many on the high cost of living in the country, Prime Minister James Marape has reaffirmed the government's commitment to reviewing and increasing the national minimum wage.
Prime Minister James Marape said his government, under the Labour Ministry, is working to deal with the minimum wage issue that is raised by many. He said this is to ensure that Papua New Guineans workers receive fair remuneration that aligns with the rising cost of living. Marape said the Minimum Wage Board has not been convened since 2014 to 2015 and assured the public that this process has now been reactivated under the leadership of Labour and Employment Ministry, Kesi Sawang.
I want to announce to our country that the Minimum Wage Board has been convened. The last time they had a formal proper meeting was 2014 or 15. So we've picked it up. I want to commend Minister the Honourable Kesi Sawang. She's got a deep interest in this, and she's been also asked to allow it to be completed.
Marape said that Trikina 50 per hour has been effective for quite a long time, therefore it needs changes, whilst noting the important role the businesses plays in the growth of an economy. He said a balanced approach is necessary to ensure that minimum wage increase does not adversely impact businesses.
To our employer federations, I want to say we have some good news for you also. Support the process. We'll find a fine balance. Let's support minimum wage increase. I think 3.50 has been there for a long time, adjusted based on CPI adjustments. And I know exactly where the trading point is. To the employers, you assist us elevate, matching this with realistically a baseline CPI adjustment rate. Once that is elevated, to the employers will come good to you. I don't intend to tell you what the good is, but you assist the process. It's a tripartite process, and let's support the bid to increase minimum wage, and that's a good thing for the employers. I will readjust someplace. I'll just say leave it at that.
He further asked the businesses to work with the Minimum Wage Board for a better outcome that is a beneficiary to both employers and employees in the country. Prime Minister Marape highlighted that the review of the minimum wage aligns with the government's long-term employment strategy, which aims to create 1 million jobs and improve the overall labor market conditions in Papua New Guinea. Samantha Solomon, National Emtv News.
30,000 plus jobs have been created in 2023. This was announced by the Prime Minister James Marape after NESFAN declaring its 34,450 new members who have joined the superannuation company in the year 2023.
Whilst commenting NESFAN, the Prime Minister said the unprecedented 34,450 new members in 2023 is a direct reflection of job creation and economic growth.
Even with the Papua LNG delay, you ask my brother sitting on my left, he will tell you, 2023, a record high new membership, 34,415 if I'm not wrong. 34,415 new members in 2023. I look forward to the numbers again for 2024.
He said the surge in superannuation membership is a clear indication of more Papua New Guineans securing formal employment. He attributed this milestone to the government's effort in fostering economic expansion and creating job opportunities across various industries.
He's telling me declarations that we should make over 10%. The last time we've seen over 10% was almost 10 years ago, if I'm not wrong. And now there is an indication that there's activity happening in the economy, even without Papua LNG.
He underscored that while savings are vital, the core message of this achievement is the increasing employment rate, particularly in sectors such as agriculture, small businesses, manufacturing and services.
Some people were thinking I was stupid when I divided agriculture minister into 4 ministries. We were targeting production in these key export sectors: oil palm, coffee, cacao, our exportable products. So, the ship is turning around in the right direction.
Prime Minister also reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting job growth across both formal and informal sector. He highlighted ongoing policy efforts to encourage more Papua New Guineans to transition into formal employment and participate in superannuation schemes. He further emphasized that economic reforms, particularly in the superannuation sector and financial policies, plays a crucial role in sustaining long-term employment growth. Samantha Solomon, National Emtv News.
Today marks World Radio Day, and in commemoration, this newsroom had an interview with 30-plus years radio broadcaster Anne Sapies on her journey in the radio industry in PNG.
The first radio to exist in PNG after Australian Broadcasting Commission was NBC, one of the familiar radio voice that has been heard throughout the country. Anne Sapies highlighted on her broadcasting journey.
It was sort of like broken because I started with NBC's Kalang FM, which is now FM 100. And when I started back then, FM radio especially was just new. I think it was only a couple of years old when I started in 1985. So it was an experience in itself that I'd started in this industry when FM radio was just beginning in Papua New Guinea.
She said in the past, everything was done manually. Compared to today, it is all digitalized and easier. As the daughter of a radio journalist, Austin Sapies, Anne said she got her motivation to be a journalist after his dad being a radio broadcaster back in the 1960s. Also a colleague to late Grand Chief Sir Michael Sumare.
So much has changed. When we first started, it was all analog. Most of the things that we used to do in the studio, apart from talking on the microphone, we had to do manually. We had to cue tapes, cassettes.
While being a broadcaster, she had the opportunity to meet international people like the royal families that had visited PNG back then.
Christian groups like Heritage Singers came, Hillsong. Of course, we had the royal family come, with Prince Charles and Camilla and the Queen, Princess Anne. So they were all part of broadcasting, and everything was done live on radio. There was no live streaming, so we had to get out there and do everything the hard way, I would say, yeah, and now it's so much more different.
She elaborated on the important role radio played prior to the arrival of television and other mainstream medias.
From 1985 up until now, the main thing that has changed over time is, of course, we've gone into digitization. And that's what you'll see a lot now happening in a lot of media outlets, especially for radio and television, but in particular radio now. It's gone digital, so that is the big difference. It's so much easier for radio announcers now, radio journalists, to be able to just at your fingertip, you know, and everything is just like the music plays, or you connect with an outside broadcast. Whatever it may be, it's all digitized now. So that's a huge difference now with radio.
Samantha Solomon, National Emtv News.
Following the recent controversy over the benefits of the Kutubu Petroleum Development License 2, the landowner leaders from the Fasu tribe, Foa tribe, Aporo Yuri from Southern Highlands Province and Southeast Manda of Hela Province are now calling on the government to solve the issues of benefits distribution.
In their petition, they are appealing to the current Minister for Petroleum, Jimmy Maladina, and Prime Minister James Marape to make a ministerial determination under Section 169A of the Oil and Gas Act 1998 to revoke the 3 ministerial determinations that was introduced during Karangakua's reign as the Minister for Petroleum. They said the 3 ministerial determinations are affecting the benefit distribution of the Fasu landowners, Foa landowners, and the Southeast Mananda landowners. They want the government to fix this issue in a span of 2 weeks.
Our stand is 2 weeks ultimatum. Mibla sabu mtubla leader mibla. 2 weeks ultimatum mibla give mibla government of Marabe Rosso, Pangu, na Minister Maladina mibla also Toksore. Minister Maladina, this is the problem. But problem where Karangakua creative na go representing people here, sorry people. 4 years now, royalty Kutino Kologan. MRTC keeping all dividend because it's like 80-20.
They said they simply want equal benefit sharing and not the 80-20% or 70-30% breakup and introduction of new landowners as stated in all 3 ministerial determinations.
Namino agree lo disla 2080 will come up. Miss Sabotim Tok lo chairman lo blood John Capinato. Also Lara mi blogora kage 100%. Mi blog in kege finish logan.
Point of also mi blog Savalo dupla houses. Namaburu one time 4 houses. Is that also mi blog now we can houses and mi blog no.
They are appealing to the Prime Minister James Marape and Minister Jimmy Maladina to ask the NEC to revise the Kutubu equity distribution, whereby the Southern Highlands provincial government receives 70% and landowners receiving 30%. They said they want this to be changed so that landowners must receive 80% and the Southern Highlands provincial government must get 20%. The landowners raised these concerns because they said for so long they have not seen any developments coming to Kutubu from the money that is allocated to host province since 1991. They said their district is least developed and they don't want this. They said landowners now have the capacity to build their own infrastructures such as roads, schools, clinics and hospitals. Louis Mangu, National Emtv News.
National Emtv News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National Emtv News. The affected people from the Lakekamu Tauri rural local level government in Gulf Province are calling on the relevant government authorities to intervene to stop the ongoing ethnic conflict between the Moveave and the Kamea people, which started in November of 2024.
The people of Biaru, Kovio, and Kunimaipa tribes living the upstream of the Lakekamu River held a press conference today in Port Moresby to address the issues and grievances affecting their people. The community leaders told the media that attempts have been made to address this issue. However, nothing has been done. Therefore, they traveled to Port Moresby to present a petition to the relevant government authorities to step in to solve this issue. They said the conflict has affected the innocent communities in the area.
The upper Lakekamu River are experiencing current food and fuel supply shortages because of the blockage of the road, which is the only access for us to get basic and goods and services from Port Moresby.
They said since the conflict started, they have been denied to access basic services such as health and education. Their freedom of movement have been denied, which affected their small business operations and supply of store goods and services.
Basic government services are not flowing through. Especially, we have shut down our primary school. Our primary school right now is shut down due to the unresolved conflict. Teachers cannot move up there because there's fear.
They indicated in the statement that the provincial and district administrations, including the police, have not fully investigated, arrested, nor prosecuted any of the alleged offenders in Kamea and Moveave.
Think where Mibla got emotion. Mibla come through this way so that Mibla like kiss him attention, blow big line with blah. PA, DA, maybe president, PBC or members blah blah blah. Only step in for the last 3 months. So Mibla come this way so that Mibla pull him leg blown, pull him will come down the community level. Now try to solve this issue.
Their spokesperson said the delay on the part of the provincial administration, police and the political leaders of the province to resolve this ethnic conflict is elevating the conflict to a stage where the livelihood of the 3 innocent communities living along the Lakekamu River are under threat.
We talk about authorities of the day. Does it take 3 months for the authorities to come down? That's a question I would like to hear them answering it. Does it take that long? You have people out there, innocent people, who have nothing to do with this thing, yet it's affecting them, and no one cares. People are hungry, there's no food in the stores there, nothing whatsoever, and you allow this to happen.
In their petition, they stated that the relevant authorities has 7 days to respond to their demands contained. They said they will seek appropriate legal action in a relevant court of law on the person or persons in breach of their constitutional rights if relevant authorities fails to address their grievances and demands. Louis Mango, National Emtv News.
Following a memorandum of understanding signed between Karawagi District and Mama Bank in July last year for the Micro, Small and Medium Credit Scheme, the program is set to start next month. Following a high-level meeting with the Ukrainian business delegation, Foreign Affairs Minister Justin Kachenko noted that the group eyes investment in the poultry industry.
Foreign Minister highlighted that the Ukrainian delegation of businessmen are in Papua New Guinea with the plan of investing in the poultry industry. He said the delegation led by Mr. Havras Dimitro and Alexander Marko returned to the country 2 months later to invest in poultry farming. The minister went on to highlight that major poultry companies Zineg and Mainland Holdings currently produce 75% of chicken and 25% is being imported to meet current PNG demand. He alluded to this as a void in the production of poultry that this potential investment may fill, saying this venture will see the poultry market upskilled with Ukrainian technique. It was noted that the team had visited Madang, Ley, Goroka and Port Moresby to finalize plans for investment. James Gukan, National Emtv News.
NCSL Chief Executive Officer Franz Kuti said NCSL has completed updating the backlog of member contributions uploaded from November 2024 to January of this year.
Mr. Kut said that only a few member accounts are still pending updates due to employers not providing payment schedules. He emphasized the importance of payment schedules as they show the correct amount of allocation per contributing member. He said the remaining accounts update are expected to be completed by end of this month. Mr. Kut noted that with majority of savings accounts now updated for their members, they have seen an increase in member numbers applying for higher loans to finance school fee related expenses. He added that the My NCSL online portal launched in December has been accessible and they are seeing a rise in transaction as more members are using it and finding it easy to access. Mr. Kut reminded members that contributions are made on a fortnightly and monthly basis. He adds that employers who have yet to submit their schedules to do so promptly for timely processing and updates. The CEO also mentioned that members registered to My NCSL can view and download their transaction history for both loan and savings accounts. And by reviewing their transaction history, members can confirm when their contributions were last updated. Lauren Jimal, National Emtv News.
And now we take a look at the NESFAN market report. The kina closed lower at $0.2489 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.2414 US, $0.3821 Australian dollars, 0.2252 euro, and 36.97 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher. Coffee closed higher, cocoa closed lower, copper closed higher, palm oil closed higher, crude oil is trading lower, and copper closed higher. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National Emtv News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National Emtv News. Prime Minister James Marape has ordered for the arrest of Miss PNG Meha Sola's attackers, condemning the cyber abuse incident.
Mr. Marape has directed the police and the Department of Communication and Information Technology to immediately investigate the cyber attacks on Miss PNG Meha Sola and have the offenders arrested with a progress report to his office by next week. He also condemned the actions in the strongest terms and called on Papua New Guineans users of social media to use these platforms responsibly, or the government could be forced to take drastic measures. Miss Asola, who recently participated in the Miss Pacific pageant held in Solomon Islands, has been attacked on Facebook with highly inflammatory and racially charged posts, which have recently included her parents as well. Prime Minister Marape also issued a public apology to Miss Asola and her parents and the people of Bougainville for the distress these derogatory comments have caused them. Pakatambua, National Emtv News.
As a way of supporting local farmers in the Eastern Highlands province, the provincial government is subsidizing air freight for rural farmers in the province.
The presentation was done by Eastern Highlands Governor Simon Sia recently as part of his aspirations to encourage agricultural activities in the province through rural economic empowerment. The aviation companies include the Mission Aviation Fellowship, MAF, the New Tribe Aviation, and SDA Aviation, all receiving 194,000 kina each as a freight subsidy for rural farmers. Governor Sia said majority of the population in the province lived in the remotest areas. He said the subsidy would relieve rural coffee farmers who cannot access road links to bring their coffees to town to access proper markets. Governor Sia added that most farmers have difficulties in transporting coffee into towns due to high freight costs. Speaking on behalf of the recipients, the MAF Country Director, Dom Sant, said the subsidy will support their operations and strengthen its mission and activity to help the rural people and farmers. James Guken, National Emtv News.
Coca-Cola is confident it is still the dominant player, despite competition from other soft drinks. This was highlighted in the company's business conference that ended in Port Moresby yesterday.
At the conclusion of the 2025 business conference with company's leadership team, Director for Sales and Commercial, Tim Solly, said Coca-Cola faces challenges, but they are always on top of their game.
Look, we're still the dominant player. That doesn't mean we can rest on our laurels, but what we believe is we like to be the leader, the market leader. And so as the market leader, while we do watch and we're keeping a tab on what the competition is doing, we don't let that change our plans. So our plans are really around what we believe is going to drive growth and achieve growth for us. And then what we find is quite often the competition follow us and copy us within 12 to 18 months. But we like to keep that leadership focus and that position, and the best way to do that is to keep an eye on what competition is doing, but not let that stop or hinder what our plans are.
As part of its strategy to maintain its dominance, the company has been running the business conference for 6 years.
And our business conference is around bringing our top 50 leaders in the organisation in Papua New Guinea together so that they can hear the strategies for the year and also so we can reflect on what we did well the previous year and what we need to do better from the previous years.
Mr. Solly said they will focus on recycling and would introduce new brands this year.
Yeah, so the big focus is for us. It's really around how do we continue to build the capability of our people. How do we continue to build and accelerate on the collections and the recycling? And at the same time, how do we create buzz and excitement for our customers? And we're doing that through introducing new brands. So we will have a brand launch this year, later this year. And also looking at the different pack sizes available to us. So there's going to be some interesting things for lots of different people, be it our customers, be it our consumers, and be it the public sector in terms of the collection work that we have.
Pakatambua, National Emtv News.
And now moving to overseas news. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin have spoken about ending the war in Ukraine in a phone call. The United States President described it as lengthy and productive.
A lot has happened today, and it started with that phone conversation between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. It went for about 90 minutes, and both the US and Russia have agreed that they will send teams to immediately begin negotiating to end this war in Ukraine. Donald Trump thanked Putin for working closely with the US. They've also agreed to visit one another's countries. But after this call, he then spoke with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. On that call, Zelensky says Trump shared some of that conversation he had with Putin. He said that he wants to work with the US to also end this war, and in doing so, preparing a potential resource partnership with the US, which would mean the US could access some of Ukraine's rare earth minerals in return for some security guarantees. The way the US now does business with adversaries and allies is very different under Trump than it was the previous administration, and President Trump has indicated that he intends to meet Putin more than once.
We ultimately expect to meet. In fact, we expect that he'll come here and I'll go there, and we're going to meet also probably in Saudi Arabia. The first time we'll meet in Saudi Arabia, see if we can get something done. But we want to end that war. That war is a disaster.
Well, the US Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, is in Europe and has actually met with Ukrainian officials, but he's made the US stance quite quite clear, which is likely to worry Ukrainians. He said, yes, the war needs to end and Ukraine needs security guarantees, but he says US troops will not be involved, and he doesn't see a NATO pathway for Ukraine as an option. He's also said it's unreasonable for Ukraine to expect to return to its pre-2014 borders before Russia invaded and annexed Crimea. Trump has echoed similar comments. He said that Ukraine will get some of its land back, but also thinks it's unreasonable to get NATO membership. Here is what Pete Hegseth had to say.
We want, like you, a sovereign and prosperous Ukraine. But we must start by recognizing that returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders is an unrealistic objective. Chasing this illusionary goal will only prolong the war and cause more suffering. The United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement.
The UN Human Rights Office estimated up to 1,400 people were killed in Bangladesh in a crackdown on student-led protests against the now former Prime Minister last year.
In a new report, the office says there are reasonable grounds to believe officials from the former government, its security and intelligence services committed serious and systemic human rights violations. The UN Human Rights Commissioner says crimes include extrajudicial killings, arbitrary arrests, torture of children and gender-based violence.
These violations were carried out with the knowledge, coordination and direction of the former political leadership and senior security officials, with the specific goal of suppressing the protests and keep the former government's grip on power.
National MTV News continues after the break with Chukai Sports. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. Looking forward to this weekend in the Women's Conference Soccer League competition, LA City Dwellers up against the Port Moresby Hekari United FC to face off in the grand final.
In a press conference held today, Lay City Dwellers coach Peter Gunemba spoke of his team's win in the semi-finals to making it to the grand finale.
Forward for the game, we go through the basic training to get ourselves prepared with mind, focus on the grand final, and some training. So actually, Raymond is doing leading the girls with the training, and I'm just observing outside, but I think our preparation is a bit okay for the grand final.
Opponent coach shares his thoughts.
It's all about our team, so we're looking forward for the game on the weekend, and hopefully the best team wins. And
sharing same sentiments were both teams' captain, Dwellers, Megan Gunemba, and Hekari United, Mari Kaipu, wished each other's team best of luck in the grand final this Saturday.
We play the grand final against him while defending champion. We'll give our best for this grand final, and only God knows who will win and who will lose.
Claire Mauta, Chukai Sports.
Chukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
You're watching Chukai Sports, and now moving to overseas sports. Last night, Australia, who had completed that clean sweep in Sri Lanka in the Test series, lost their first one-day international in Colombo by 49 runs.
Now, it was a second-string Australian team, but it was an amazing performance by Sri Lanka, and particularly by the captain, Charith Azalanka. He made a ton, and the home side made a total of 214. Australia were bowled out for 165.
And in AFL, Port Adelaide unveiled their succession plan. Ken Hinkley will step down as the senior coach at the end of the 2025 season.
He'll be replaced by the assistant coach Josh Carr, who has agreed a 3-year contract. Para-chairman David Koch said Hinkley approached the club over the pre-season, saying this year would be his last. Hinkley joined the club in 2013. Now, they haven't even made a grand final in that time. But he said that even if they were to win a premiership, Mel, he would be okay to still walk away. So that will remain the succession plan, he says, if they win a premiership.
And that ends Chukai Sports. The Morning Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Now looking at the weather report for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby City partly cloudy with evening few showers and thunderstorms inland. Daru partly cloudy with few evening showers and possible thunderstorms. Kerema becoming cloudy with few evening showers and drizzles. Alotau cloudy evening with some rain showers and possible thunderstorm. And Popondetta cloudy afternoon with evening rain showers and thunderstorms. Looking at the Momase region, Ley City becoming cloudy with evening rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Medeng partly cloudy with few evening showers. Wewak partly cloudy in the evening with brief showers. Vanimo partly cloudy with few showers and possible thunderstorms. In the New Guinea Islands region, Dorengau sunny to fine evening. KVN sunny to fine in the evening. Kokopo and Rabaul sunny to fine tonight. Kimbe partly cloudy with evening showers, and Buka sunny to partly cloudy evening. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen City cloudy periods with rain showers and thunderstorms. Goroka, Barnes and Kundiawa becoming cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms. Mendi, Tari and Wabek becoming overcast with widespread afternoon-evening rain, showers and thunderstorms.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Thursday, the 13th of February 2025. From all of us here, pleasant viewing and good night.